show you, right? So guys, here's the thing. Here's our delayed response on that. Anyways, so yeah, so this is the thing. I'm gonna do the YouTube thumbnail. So it already taken that image, but so imagine you post your YouTube link, get the thumbnail that you want, right? So it gets the thumbnail that you want, okay, that you want to recreate. You generate the prompts, right? So what's gonna do? It's gonna generate the prompt for that. It's beautiful prompt for that. Now you can edit this prompt, right? The thing. So I don't know. Right now, it somehow by the developers are changing. There should be a pencil icon here that is gone. One by the time you see it, should be here. So you will see the pencil icon here. So you can change. You can say like change the guy to a woman or girl and change the text to this blah blah blah, right? And you can choose which quality you want, fast or high, and then based on that you can do like ratio. Like I want 16:9, which is like my my thumbnail design, and you can generate like that. So powerful, right? And I'm going to show you the t-shirt designs while it is being generated, that which was left from previously, right? T-shirt design, it's so amazing, guys. Check this out, right? You always think about which idea, right? This idea or this design is not selling, or this or that, right? It gives you this hot selling design, really beautiful design that you put on your t-shirts as your unique designs, because 100% of them are uniquely generated every time. We trained it to make with all those winners and all those designs that have gained popularity and virality in the past, right? So I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna do people who are people who are gym lovers, right? Because I'm slowly becoming one, so that's why I keep giving this example. So okay, so I'm gonna generate the prompt. What it's gonna do, guys, it takes like few seconds. What it's gonna do, it's gonna give you the prompt to generate the specific image, right? And then boom. And then what you can do, choose fast or high quality, and then aspect ratio 1:1. So look at that. Idea to app, our app, also not our app, I mean, our thumbnail is ready. Let me just show you, right? Look at this, right? Now you can switch. You can, you can have your picture over there. You can edit the text and all that. Good stuff here, right? Which is, I mean, very tedious stuff and very time consuming, but it is not anymore. So again, make sure you utilize the prompt magic very efficiently inside the YouTube thumbnail. YouTube URL, drop any YouTube URL, get the thumbnail you want instantly like this, and then you would get the design that you want, right?
Yes, this question, even I was wondering, what's the difference between this and Mirror Magic? This feature you just showed and Mirror Magic.
Yeah. So the difference between there, it's easier. It's easier. The workflow when you're doing it, it's easier for you, because with Mirror Magic, you had to do the whole process of going to the thumbnail downloader, downloading the thumbnail, getting the prompt and all that. It's easier. It's quicker. You can use Mirror Magic if you want, but yeah, because a lot of people want, because a lot of we have a lot of amazing members who run YouTube channel. They want a faster workflow for churning out good thumbnails from easy. Because imagine you want to create 5 thumbnails for 5 videos. You kind of like go there, download it, boom. I want something like this. Put the YouTube URL, create something similar to that, and get done with it. Fast, easy, and more more fast basically. So all right, perfect. Any questions, Paul? You see something that has to be explained?
Nothing much yet. Basically, in regards to just the idea of this, I wanted to kind of address this. So this multi-layered thing, the thing is, just let's put aside PSD file, right? That's a Photoshop specific file. But let's imagine you want to do multi-layer stuff, right? Stuff that you do. We are doing some research and development on it. I cannot promise the specific date when it will be ready, but the idea is that you can layer, like let's say there's an image and there's me, right? So in this image, I have a t-shirt, I have a microphone, let's say here or whatever. In that image, let's say there's a lot of variables. You can automatically, the AI will make them into different layers. Okay, we're doing some R&D stuff on that still, but once we crack it, the idea will be it'll allow you to basically move a cupcake from an image and make it into a new layer and automatically, right? So that's being worked on. So you're gonna love it. It's for advanced users. They're gonna be blown away by it. But just give us some more time because we're still doing some testing. Just to put it in perspective, there's like almost 10 people working on all these updates based on the machine learning, AI stuff, and also on the side of the development and all that. So that's why we're able to push these updates so quickly, right?
Yeah.
Then the other question
We're gonna
that came in as well is, where do I purchase Artistly? Okay, you go to Artistly.ai and you get it. So that's where you'd want to go in and you'd want to get Artistly. So I'll put that up here in the, if I can show it to you. You see that Artistly.ai? That's where you want to get it, okay? So if you haven't already, obviously, which most of you do, okay? And the, so we'll be answering some questions, folks, right now. We have some secret features, but instead of revealing all of them right now and overwhelming you, we're going to be talking that in the next training as well, because a lot of the stuff you're working on should be complete by next week. So it'll be pretty cool. One really interesting thing that I kind of wanted to mention here is that if you see here, right, a lot of the stuff that we shared with you, a lot of the, I would say, you can let me know in the chat box if you agree with me, right? So a lot of the companies out there, they'll have a roadmap, right? Users will request stuff. There is a bunch of, let's say some people, 100 people want something, 50 people want something, they'll channelize it, and then they'll say Q4 or whatever, like in 4 months or something, or 5 months, the update will release. The problem is that oftentimes in the AI space, things are changing a lot, right? So what we are doing instead, the way we are pushing updates is, we are actually spending money on advertising using the same stuff that we are creating within Artistly. Like, let's say the YouTube thumbnail for this live stream was created with Artistly, right? The actual, if you see the ads that you folks must have seen on Facebook, YouTube, Google, whatever, the images, right? Instagram, all these places are created with Artistly. So what happens then is we see, okay, this image or this photo or this design or this banner or poster or social media post, it did pretty well. But this one didn't do that well. Okay, why didn't it get virality, or why didn't it get 100,000 views or whatever, like, shares or whatever? And then we go back to the drawing board and like, okay, this is the reason why it didn't. We got to add this feature in, right? So a lot of this stuff, you know, even that prompt magic feature that Yash was showing in the case of kid story books, YouTube thumbnails, t-shirt designs, coloring books, right? It has to be its own category because behind the scenes, it's very different from Mirror Magic in how we do it. That's the reason why. It's more fine-tuned for the specific use case, right? Do you agree with me what I'm trying to say? So in other words, we see real world problems and we add that in. And that, I think, is the biggest edge we have with Artistly, and that's the greatest benefit you're gonna get from people who are actually drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. And actually we are testing it every day and we're learning across the board. And because of this, right, we are very clear on what we want to do, right? Say, for example, we're not going to put 100 features and confuse you, right? It'll be more like, okay, if you do that 15, 20 features, it'll be actually practical features, right? And specific for that. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. One of it is t-shirts, right? A lot of you folks were like, I love the t-shirt designs, but I want the ability to export them as a specific format, let's say, right? Or I want to export them in a higher, let's say, quality output. Well, that is a real practical use case. We focus on that as a priority. Same thing with, let's say, for example, you want to do product mockups, right? One of the things we're looking into right now is being able to also do e-covers and e-book designs and stuff like that on a more 3D shape. So right now you can create book covers for Kindle and all these other places, super easy within the application. But if you want to go beyond that, we're working on that because we know if you're going to do covers first, you also want to create a ebook cover kind of thing, right? So that'll be an update we're going to release down the line, even though nobody even requested it in the roadmap. You see what I'm saying? So that is the reason why I think it'll be more of a practical use case. A lot of times people bring up this idea of like, hey, Midjourney or Ideogram or all these other platforms, how is this different from that? And obviously we can't compete with them on the amount of money we're spending on advertising or amount of features we're adding or whatever, right? Where we can actually compete and we can beat them easily is practical use cases, right? See, a software developer will never have the understanding of a practical use case, right? Because they are not actually drinking their own Kool-Aid and using this stuff, right? How do you expect a programmer to understand social media customer psychology or advertising or the consulting business, or where you're trying to create somebody for a dentist or a doctor or e-commerce company. They have no clue. So the difference will be practical use cases, you see, and that is what will set this apart. Now, I do see oftentimes, right, and I'm sure you can let me know in the chat box if you understand this concept, is that this idea is very important, right? We're coming up with a lot of features, and believe me when I say some of the stuff we are working on, when it releases, people are like, why didn't I think about that? Like, that didn't exist with AI before. You're going to be thinking like that because it's just, you would think, why didn't it ever exist? It would be a game changer if it existed, right? Like some stuff that Photoshop you're going to sit for like 2 weeks to do or 1 week to do, right? I want to give you an example. Like we one of the advertising campaigns we're running on in Facebook, one of the comments was, hire a designer. This AI stuff, like it's taking away creativity or something like that, right? And you see quite a bit of these comments on like, hey, AI is taking away from creativity, or like hire a designer for this, right? The problem is we have full-time designers in our team, right? We have full-time graphic designers in our team, right? Where what happens is, in real life scenario, Yash and I are going live today. We need a YouTube thumbnail, right? I message the designers like, I'm sleeping right now, or my time zone is different, right? Or I have an appointment with the doctor today. I can't do it in a 1 hour or 30 minutes type of a scenario, right? It's too quickly. Give me 2 days notice. Real life works like this, right? You will be in urgent scenarios. You're going to be in scenarios where like a non-graphic designer like yourself, right, would need to be fast, right, in many elements. And that's what this does, right? That's what you can do with the mirror magic and this consistent character stuff we're talking about today, and all these other features that we
Yeah.
have. It'll allow you speed, right? Yeah, yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
exactly. And then I just can't tell you, I don't do any photo shoots anymore for the ads if I want, right? How easy it is, right? For the crew, just the crew and the whole setup, right? For you to, I showed you, right? Like for example, like holding as a like that costume, right? Holding as a forest ranger, right? In the forest, holding something, holding a green board with your message. Imagine if you want to create 10-20 posts like that with your client, let's say dentist, right? How would you be able to do that at once and at always without an increasing ever cost of photograph? I mean, when you want things fast, because right now it's all about the game of volume. It's not about the game of quality in a sense. If you think about, the AI has revolutionized the way you and me are now so much, we need so much of content we don't even remember what we saw. I mean, like, in a way, right? So right now it's not about that I'm gonna create the perfect piece of art and put out in this world on the internet and get a lot of views. It's not gonna work like that. Right now, it used to be in 2020 when we were doing training, like I told you guys, our videos have to be perfect, does not anymore. You need volume. If you're putting one video, you need 10 videos to be there, because
Let me give you a
I
perfect example on this, right? Folks, you can let me know in the chat box if you understand this concept, okay? So traditional businesses, right? They have a Black Friday deal, right? Like during the Black Friday time, which is generally November, they're gonna have a Black Friday special. They'll get these graphic designers to come in, and then they'll be like, okay, folks, for the next 1 week, we need 500 different banners and brochures and elements for social media campaigns, right? So these designers sit from October and all the way to November. They create like 500 design elements for that Black Friday. They do the deal, it does well, and then the business is like, okay, now it's Christmas now, New Year, we're gonna chill, and we're gonna go back to our day-to-day stuff. What if, and we've done this, right? You run a Black Friday deal, you run a Christmas deal, you run also a New Year deal, and then in February, right, you run a Valentine's Day deal, right? And then you do run a spring deal, you run a summer deal. Think about it. Now you have 5 different opportunities to connect with your customers rather than one. This is the difference between profitability and a business going bankrupt. Imagine a restaurant, right? 90% of restaurants go out of business within the first 1 year. Number one reason why they go out of business is that they don't run enough advertising campaigns because they're relying on external sources like word of mouth and all that. In today's world, nobody cares, right? Even to get word of mouth, you need to have as many of these brochures, campaigns, deals, offers as possible. So that's what AI will allow you to do. And if you don't do it, your competition is doing that anyways, right? And there is this tendency, and I wanted to be very clear on this, where, well, if that is the case, there'll be a lot of junk content created by AI and social media platforms. How do I stand out, right? That is the reason why we use Artistly to have specific features focused on specifically, if you will, doing objection handling for users and really eliminating a lot of the friction, right? Because you don't know, I don't know, Yash doesn't know what will actually do well on social media. What we focus on is, hey, if I do 5 campaigns instead of one, I'll get 5x the results. It's just common sense, right? If I focus on the ability to get things out quickly, I'll get better results. I'll tell you a perfect example. We used to do these live streams before, and like we wouldn't have time to create a thumbnail. So thumbnail would be my face or Yash's face, right?
Yeah.
And we got Artistly. That's the frustration we had. We put that feature in where we'd get mirror magic and these other features where you upload a thumbnail, get an idea, and get it. It's like 2 minutes work now, right? And just before we go live, we'd put the thumbnail, and videos used to get 500 to 800 views are getting 5,000 now. 10x. Took us 2 minutes. Simple addition, right? AI will allow you to do that. Before I'd have graphic designer, I'd be like, can you do a thumbnail? You'd be like, Paul, I'll get back to you in 48 hours. It needs a lot of creative thinking, you know? I have to think about fonts. I got to think about where to position your photo. I got to think about like all this other stuff. It's just too much for me. So you see how things are changing, right? In real life scenario, this is how life works. This is how business people think. This is how your local dentist, chiropractor, your local restaurant owner, your e-commerce company you work with, or your own business, right? This is how it works, where it comes down to where you have to get the job done, you know? There's no excuses. You can't rely on somebody. I see this oftentimes, right? We used to, I do a lot of consulting work locally, right? So I would go to a business and like, hey, what happened to that campaign? I told you do that New Year campaign, right? And then they'll be like, well, you know, the graphic designer's away for the Christmas holidays, right? And they'll be back after the New Year is done. So therefore, I'm waiting. That's money lost, right? And they wait because they are relying on somebody else that they feel that they're not capable of doing, right? So that's the key thing I'm trying to get across here. It's not about AI taking away something. It's about giving you the power to do something that you couldn't do before at all, right? And it gives you the creativity. Will a graphic designer do a better job than AI? Yeah, maybe 10% better. But in pure volume, you're gonna basically do much better overall, right? Because it's gonna allow you to implement things much
Yeah.
faster. So coming back to that, the questions, right? And you can let me know in the chat box if that makes sense to you folks, right? And
Yeah.
it'll allow you to simplify things and stuff like that, right? But the point I'm saying here, and you're seeing it because we're spending millions of dollars every time, right? Every year. Last year we spent well over, I think, a couple of $1 million or something on AI and understanding customer psychology and what's happening in research, development, servers, all this stuff. And I can tell you with confidence, right? In the next 2 years, if people are sleeping on this stuff, what's going to happen is there's going to be two types of people, right? It's like how when the calculator came in, I mean, a calculator would be a genius doing math in their head, right? It's the same concept. A person with AI in with their side for any tools, by the way, will actually beat a person who is the best graphic designer, best video creator in the world, best video editor, right? And that's what's going to happen. And so basically what we are teaching also in these training sessions and going forward, we're going to focus on, if you understand this, is we're going to be focusing on, hey, look, in real life scenarios, you're going to face these issues, right? And how do we solve those issues, right? And if you're able to solve them in a quick manner, that'll be the difference between you having a game-changing, life-changing amount of results, or you're going to be like just like that business I was trying to tell you. Hey, this person who I rely on for this job is away for the holidays. I am just waiting. I don't know. Whenever they come, the job will be done, right? So this will be the changes that will occur. And similarly, with the stuff that we are working on with Artistly going forward as well, we're not going to be doing 1,000 features. I know some people will be like, well, but this feature is available in that application and that this application. What we are actually doing is the pain points we're seeing users like yourself posting in our Facebook group. If you're not, join our Facebook
Well,
group. And similarly, customer support desk. Similarly, we are seeing it in our own business when we are posting stuff and we're seeing comments, right? The final point I'm going to make on this is initially, right, a year ago, just like a year ago, 1 year ago, okay, we used to generate designs with Artistly, right? Or and even the best of the best tools, Midjourney, DALL-E, and all this other stuff. when you used to post it on social media, right? The first comment used to be, I hate this AI slop, right? I hate this AI stuff. It's so bad. It's taking away from realism or whatever. Now, when we post, people cannot tell the difference. I was talking to one of the world's best photographers, and he's like an animator slash, they do all this designs and stuff like that for movies. They create posters and stuff. And he said he made a recent post. Okay, this is the funny part. He made a recent post on social media where he spent 1 month creating that particular image, right? This particular image was this person flying in the air, and that was the image. They did a lot of Photoshop editing and all that. Everybody in the comments were like, "This is generated by AI." You see how the world revolves, right? A real designer was spending 1 month on something. People are accusing of that person using AI tools, and a real AI tool, which is actually generating the AI image, people can't tell the difference. This is reality. In 1 year, this is the change that occurred. Now imagine another 2 years, what's going to happen, right? So you're getting equipped by this stuff where everybody, 99% of this world is sleeping right now. And by the time they wake up, it's too late. Just like, when the personal computer revolution came in, or mobile revolution came in, internet revolution came in, people who slept on it saying, I'll still use Yellow Pages. I'm not going to use Google. I'll still use newspaper advertising. I'm not going to use Google advertising or Facebook advertising. Same concept. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this is exact pain point, right? So as some of you mentioned, right? I agree with some people who have said, right now our current system does not do a proper job by putting the markup, but we fixed it. And in the next update, when we gonna coming, right? So it's pain in, right? I mean, like it's a pain, right? But you have your product, and there was this amazing member. She said, I sell jewelry, but there's no other way to put my jewelry on models because it costs thousands of dollars to hire models and actually do that. Well, that gave us an idea, and we instantly did an AI UGC, image. So now basically what you can do, you can have your products like hat, jewelry, earring, with Merch Magic, you can already do your t-shirt. That's going to even get much better, with stuff. And that's the thing, right? You cannot actually go and do, because right now, let's say you sell 50 t-shirts, for example, with 50 designs. You cannot go with different models, have the different t-shirts, and then put for your website and for your ads. But you can do using Artistly very easily, right? You can do it for your stuff, like whether you sell hat or any product, right? You want your model, you want UGC stuff, like it seems like user generated. You can create it using Artistly. So that's the next step they will be pushing, and it's gonna get so much better in the next few. And I'll keep, so make sure. There's one last thing I want to add here, right? Paul, you want to mention about the channel log in the roadmap, like?
Yeah. So one of the things that we are working on, folks, is and it's been pending for a while simply because of organization, and Facebook group is where we want to post, and Facebook doesn't give us reach in terms of when we post links, nobody gets to see it. So how we are structuring this is we're gonna have something called a change log, or in other words, what it is
It
like
is
a
already
blog,
live.
right?
Let me show
So
you.
imagine you go to this blog, right? We're gonna give a URL, and in there we're gonna make a post like, on this particular day, these were the updates made, right? And this is how you use this update. In this particular date, we did this update. Let's say Artistly 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, whatever it might be. So we're going to be talking about it. So it's going to look something like this, what Yash is showing in the screen. And then you can click